understand. The hide and seek, play with facts. It changes on demand. Take my hand, I just saw the shadow fade from dawn. Not me, and I'm glad for you, and the love song never stops. I like the look in your eyes when you talk a certain way. I love the day in the life when you know that love is way. Minding my own business when you came along. Temperatures were running hot. Fever was so strong. Till my hand met the sun and the shadow fade from dawn. Like me, and I'm praying for you, and the love song never stops. Don't stop it. It's always an adventure. The fantasies we make a fact. You're the secret I desire. I can't keep that to myself. When we're not together, it doesn't feel so bad. We could be so far apart, but our love's not sad. cry when you got to get it out. I'll be your shoulder. You can tell me all. Don't keep it in you. Well, that's the reason why I'm here. Hey, are you ready for a new sensation? Right now.
Hi, this is Ken Block. I'm here with a new project of mine, the Hoonicorn RTR. Because I am a much better race car driver than technical talker, I've brought someone special in to do that technical talking for me, Mr. Chris Harris. Hi, this is Ken Block. I'm here with a new project of mine, the Hoonicorn RTR. Because I am a much better race car driver than technical talker, I've brought someone special in to do that technical talking for me, Mr. Chris Harris.
Now, as a seasoned motoring journalist, I rarely get on an aircraft to not drive a car, but I'll make an exception for this remarkable creature here. What you see here is a visual representation, a physical one, of the inside of Ken and his Hoonigan team's head. Now, in trying to define this vehicle and understand it, you should really listen to the people that created it. It was described to me earlier by one of the Hoonigan team as 25% DTM, 25% Trans Am, 50% Hot Wheels. So it's fantasy meets the idea of creating the ultimate car. Give you some numbers. We love some numbers, don't we? 850 horsepower from, for the first time, a normally aspirated engine, a V8. 6.7 litres, revs to about 8,000 RPM. I've heard it. You wait till you hear it. It's extraordinary. It's basically a NASCAR engine. But despite the fact that it has this very defined aesthetic, it really is very much a case of form following function. Because we've got this V8 placed so far back in the chassis, it's effectively front mid-engine, like a Ferrari F12, really. That allows the half shafts to sit ahead and the differential ahead of the engine. So this is a V8 850 horsepower rally car because Ken wanted that four-wheel drive. That's what defines the Gymkhana videos, the four-wheel drive, all four wheels launching him at ridiculous speeds and ridiculous angles. I need you to come and look at this now. So here we go, look. Engine a long way back. That is front mid-engine. The axle line is there, okay? We've got this completely bespoke frame, so it is kind of a space frame. And down in the front, look at this. This is just pornographic. Fully inboard suspension on push rods. Infinite adjustment, massively strong, huge, great big double wishbones. It's double wishbones all round. Now, I know it looks lovely and retro with these high stacks on it, and you expect to see some carburetors, and I know that these V8 sometimes don't seem to be the most modern things around, but this is pretty trick, this thing. So you've got individual throttle bodies on the top here, which are utterly gorgeous. Have a look at this now, you can see them moving. And then you've got Motec management running the whole thing. It's a very, very slick operation. I'm also told reliably that the reason for the signature, slightly shrieking V8 noise is a firing order situation. So you need the perfect sounding engine for the car that goes perfectly sideways. This thing is internet gold. So what's remaining of the Mustang? And the answer is not much. You've got an A pillar, that's an A pillar, and you've got a B pillar, and you've got a roof. And when I asked the guys that made it what beyond that was from a 65 Mustang, they all sort of scratched their chins and looked at the ceiling, because the rest of it is just completely bespoke and utterly gorgeous. Okay, let's go around to the cabin. Now, I hate to say this, but we're doing this when Ken's not here. This is kind of his seat, and he doesn't allow anyone in here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. This is so cool. Inside, we have the most beautiful bespoke carbon dashboard. I'm reliably informed 500 man-hours have gone into the creation of that alone. I mean, this is just utterly gorgeous. Analog Hoonigan bespoke gauges. And then, of course, we have the signature Hoonigan handbrake lever here, which is connected to a clutch which so cleverly, when you yank it, disconnects the front powertrain and just gives you locking rear wheels that Ken uses to rather dramatic effect, as we know. Transmission here is a SADEV gearbox. Now, unless you're really into rallying, you won't have heard of them, but they're a French company that make the Mac Daddy of transmissions. And the one in this is their biggest, strongest unit that's actually found in Dakar rally cars. So it's massively, massively strong. One thing you need to know also is that the driving position is comfortable, but it's low. And the velocity stacks obviously are a thing of joy and wonder to behold, but they're right in the way. So this is quite a wide car as well, physically bigger than the Fiesta that he's used before. I don't think it's that easy a car to place. So watching him drift within inches of stuff, it's all the more impressive because you really can't see much sitting here. Of course, it's littered with GoPros because this is about filming, so it's a mobile studio. Everywhere you look, there's a GoPro covering a movement. Now, I'm no great knowledge on the 1965 Ford Mustang, but I don't think the original had a toggle that said donuts. The weight, by the way, is around 3,000 pounds, which in European cash is about 1,360 kilograms, which is an ample power to weight ratio. Let's talk rubber. The biggest tyre ever to feature on a Hoonigan car, a Gymkhana car. Here we have two 9530 ZR18s, but they are a Pirelli P0 Trofeo R in a special compound. A bit harder for a little less grip because this is not about lap times. A little bit more smokiness comes from them. But the coolest thing of all is that they come out of a mould and they have Ken's name on them. I have to say, when Pirelli put your name on a tyre, you've kind of arrived, haven't you? The wheels, made by 1552, they're a three-piece 18-inch wheel, and as you can imagine, have to be pretty strong because they take an awful lot of abuse. Let's come down to the side. Here we have an exhaust. Amazingly, there's the same thing going on the other side. There is, I think, no silencing here at all. The noise this thing makes is absolutely extraordinary. For me, that's what makes it an even more interesting project than the last ones. Okay, you can make a turbocharged 4 sound pretty amazing with anti-lag and all sorts of things going on, but this thing at full noise, honestly, the crew just stop when the filming's going on because it's extraordinary. It's actually violent. Right, come around the back. I'd like to say this wing exists for downforce, but it doesn't at all. It's completely aesthetic. It's for no reason other than looking cool. Brian's there, who's part of this project. He's shaking his head, but he knows that I'm telling the truth. But it's got a look, hasn't it? What I love about the car is it's hunkered down. It's recognisably a Mustang, but it just sits on the deck. And when you see it moving, God, it looks low, but it looks supple. So they've taken the suspension and not gone too hard. You get some lovely movement and yaw in the car that gives the language of speed, of load. You might see right now that I did in fact sit in it as Ken drove it. Boy, does it feel fast. It feels violently fast, like it's trying to hurt you. In fact, the best quote of the day was when we got out of the car afterwards and Ken just looked at me and said, "This thing just spends most of the day trying to kill me." Come with me, have a look at some gizzards, have a look at some stuff inside. Okay. It's amazing, and it's not really very original Mustang in here, but it's stunning all the same. Again, inboard suspension to give space for this transmission. In some respects, you can view this vehicle as an engine and a transmission around which they fitted some other stuff that looks a bit like a Mustang. Amazing suspension, so you've got massive, great big double wishbones, an enormous structure here as well, a very small fuel tank because you don't need much fuel on a Gymkhana set, and lots of filming equipment. Now, they didn't want me to show that, but I think it's really important because this is a car that's working. This is mid-shoot at the moment. Of course, it's riddled with camera equipment. As someone who does a lot of shooting himself, I'm amazed at how neat and tidy the installations are. You think that isn't? That really is. This thing carries so many cameras. It's incredible. No, it's a work of art. I have to say, it really is a work of art. Okay, so why a Mustang? Well, first of all, why not a Mustang? It's the 50th year of the Mustang. Unless you've been living on Mars, you'd have seen some promotional activity. This seemed the perfect time to do it. Of course, it was the first small muscle car as well, and it had a V8. So how do you go about doing it? Well, it's a heck of a project. So first of all, we have Ken's kernel of an idea with his Hoonigan team as well. And then you need some knowledge. Well, he's best mates with Vaughan Gittin Jr., who knows as much about turning Mustangs into performance display cars as anyone, as we know. But here's a two-wheel drive, and this needed to be four-wheel drive. So then we had this collaborative project whereby they went to RTR, which is Vaughan's company that makes these amazing vehicles, and they worked together to create this thing behind us, and it really is pretty special. So it's a stunning set of aesthetics, and it's a stunning piece of engineering, and it is possibly the coolest Mustang ever built.